Even though the bowl is already clean, I like to wipe it out with a towel to make sure there's no food or dirt left over in the bottom. Today I will be using sugar, yeast, and flour, and some salt. To make enough bread for a family of 10, I normally use about 5 cups of flour for this specific recipe. Now keep in mind, this recipe is a side dish bread, not a main course bread. Here you can see about how much flour is in the bowl. The next step is to make a well in the center of the flour. You can do this either using a spoon or your hand. I sometimes do a spoon and sometimes I do a hand. In the video I used a spoon and then I used my hand afterwards. It was because I did not feel like I got a good enough well in the center with the spoon, and sometimes that happens. Next, I use yeast. In this recipe, I normally use about 2 teaspoons, but it varies depending on how much flour I put in. After that, I use some sugar. I don't always use it, but I do notice that it tends to help the dough to rise better as it feeds the yeast. You can do anywhere from a pinch to a teaspoon. I did about a teaspoon here. After that, you add some water. Pour it in the center of the well of flour where you have the yeast and sugar. This will help the yeast to activate. I like to keep my workspace clean, so don't mind me cleaning up a little in the background. I did add a bit of olive oil and a pinch of salt. This is how the yeast looks while it's activating. That's really cool, isn't it? Once it's all bubbly like this, you can go ahead and start to mix it. While it's mixing, I add a bit more warm water, anywhere from a cup to 3 cups more, depending on how much flour you used. I think this time I added 1.5 to 2 cups. If your dough is looking too wet like mine was, you can add a bit more flour until it starts to look not as wet. When the dough is almost done, you will see it begin to pull away from the sides as this dough is done. It's getting really close to being ready. Once your dough is at this stage, you can go ahead and take it out of the bowl. Make sure you scrape the extra dough off the dough hook of your mixer and put it on the counter and begin to knead. Your dough should be moist, but not overly super sticky. It should not stick to your hands or the counter when you're touching it, and as you knead it, it will get a little bit drier than it was previously and will become a beautiful, nice mound of round dough. Once your dough has been kneaded for a couple of minutes, I like to coat it in olive oil so that it will not stick to the bowl that I let it rise in. When you're all finished kneading, form it into a beautiful ball of dough. I got a larger bowl out to put the dough in to rise. Make sure you put the dough somewhere warm, like next to the oven, so it will rise quicker. Cover the bowl with your dough with a towel so that no flies or bacteria get into the dough. You can also cover the bowl with plastic wrap, and that'll work just as well. Now let the dough rise for 30 minutes to an hour until it doubles in size. To make this bread, break off a piece of dough and start stretching it. You can either stretch the dough out or pat it out or roll it out with a rolling pin, whichever you would like to do best. Here I'm demonstrating how to do it by stretching. Do it until it's pretty thin and then toss it in a hot frying pan. Let it cook until it's golden brown on one side and then flip it, and then let it cook until it's golden brown on the other side and is puffed up. Once they're puffed up and golden brown on both sides, you can take them out of the pan and place them on a rack to cool. This is the finished product. It's delicious and buttery and so good when eaten warm. And it's good when it's cold too, but our family loves it warm. You can eat it as a side dish with soup, or you can even make them for breakfast in the morning. Enjoy!